these are our living terraces, and we've constructed these pallet walls, and in the mix here we're throwing anything organic, as long as it's not pressure treated or like a green treated post. We take that stuff out, and we're not putting plywood and things like that, but any solid dimensional lumber or cuttings off of trees. It could be large. There's a lot of firewood that I got for free that we're throwing in here, as well as straw. I found several bales of straw at the dump that I picked up for free, which is kind of good stuff. So anything organic can go in these beds, and it's actually a good thing because the wood holds moisture for a long time, and so as your plant roots go down, they're going to be able to access that moisture even if there's not a lot of rain. And you don't have to water these as much by doing that, by incorporating that large mass of woody material. And since it's large material, it's not going to be eating as much nitrogen as if you put like sawdust or wood chips that will steal a lot of the nitrogen away. We also put in branches and things like that. And then on the top layer that's maybe 12 to 16 inches, we mix in a better type of soil that's more like a topsoil, and then we put a layer of mulch on top of that. So the engineer said we could have 6 inches of soil up here, 6 to 8. So we set these pallets a little bit high so we got room to hold the soil in, and the soil will come down into the pallets, and we'll use straw too to kind of mulch it and add organic matter and keep it from all falling through. We're going to put about a foot of just drain rock right against this wall, like right here against this, on the roof here against this wall, so that I don't have things growing right up into my vents and things. So this is the vent that goes down into the root cellar, and it's a 6-inch vent. We'll put a nice little rain cap on it, and then it'll have a control down in the root cellar where you can open and close it and increase or decrease the ventilation. And then of course we had the earth tube ventilation that brings cool air into the root cellar way down low. And you see, we're sealing everything real tight because we want to make it a nice weather tight building and reduce the infiltration as much as possible. So we put this redwood bracing here across the top of the roof so that we could brace off this pallet wall to basically brace it against itself, so it became much more rigid. And then we ran this fencing, this wire fencing that a friend of mine gave to me, and ran that around the outside and stapled it all the way, so this whole U here has this fencing around it that's also going to keep the pallets from pooching out. And we can go ahead and put our soil in here, and then we'll mulch it. And I'm going to do a bed that's about 3 feet wide, and then I'm going to do bark, which is a lot lighter. And we'll do a bark path of about 2 feet, and then we'll do soil again, and then another bark path. So it'll be a nice little garden space up here on the roof. What we did on this surface here, which is the living roof, is we put this grace paper first, and I did it 50% overlap. So it ends up being about, it's 2 layers. And then on top of that, we used the Delta drain mat, which you can see here. Oh, I'm sorry, it's the rubber. We went with the EPDM rubber, and which is like your inner tube material for your inner tube in your car. This is the Delta mat here that we put down. Some of it we had left over had the fabric on it. This particular stuff that we had to fill in did not have fabric, so I just used, this was that structural fabric that we used in the beginning under the footings. And the water will go through it, but it keeps the soil from plugging the whole surface up, and that way the water can drain out, and it's got good drainage underneath.